Everybody, how's it going, man? I'm back with another video. It's been a little bit, and we just got moved across the country. I'm going to build a battery here for you guys. I'm going to do a simple LifePo4 Headway 38120s cell, and I'm going to do a 12 volt 50 amp hour battery pack, and that's going to consist of 20 of the Headway 38120 cells. And I'm going to put it together in a kind of a square configuration. I'm going to use a 100 amp BMS, and I'm going to show you a few of our trick plates that we've got. Other than that, man, let's get to it. All right, anyways, man, so I got 20 Headway cells over here. These are 10 amp hours each. We're going to put 20 of them in this pack. We're going to run 5 in parallel, 4 in series, and that's going to give us 50 amp hours. Running 5 in parallel gives us 50 amp hours per cell or per bank, and then 4 in series is going to get us to 12 volts. In reality, we're going to be at 14.4 volts fully charged. Anyway, for those of you who do not know what a Headway 38120s cell is, this is what it is. It is a blue cylinder-like battery. This is the S, meaning it's got screws on both the positive and the negative ends, and that's pretty much about it. You can kind of get a size comparison of it with an iPhone here. There's an iPhone 10, and that's what size it is. Anyways, we're going to run 20 of these in these battery holders. These are two slot battery holders, and we're going to put it together. It's pretty straightforward. A lot of you guys have been asking how to do it from beginning to end, so here it is. We did put these together earlier, myself and my crew, so you know, if you don't know how to do these, just watch one of my earlier videos on the Headway cells and you'll understand how to build these. Anyways, very simply, silver side is your positive, black side is your negative, and you're going to run these the first row in parallel, and we're going to do a simple 5-row system. So we're going to go 5 up with positive, just like so, right out of the box. These are all brand new cells, by the way. We do sell these over at solarjenny.com. These are all positive. Now we're going to switch, go to all negative. Keep going. Now we're going to swap back to positive up, silver side up. And now we have 3 rows. So we'd have our first parallel group, our second parallel group, our third parallel group. 1 more to go. All right, so now that that's done, this is a 50 amp hour setup. This is how we're starting a 12 volt 50 amp hour setup. And once again, like I said, we have 4 rows of 5. 5 will go positive to positive, negative to negative. The next group will do the same, so on and so forth, and then we'll put them all together, going through the battery, starting at the positive side, through the battery to the negative side. From the negative of that battery, over to the positive of the next battery, up through there to the negative of that battery, over to the positive of this battery, down through this battery to the negative, from the negative of this battery, over to this battery, and then up through, and that completes our circuit. We'll have positive over here, and we'll have negative over here. Anyways, that's how it sets up. Then we take this little deal here, the other 2-hole battery holder that we put together, place it right on top, kind of wiggle it into place. We use a rubber mallet, like so, gently tapping this on, but it just kind of keeps them solid together, and then we're going to put them all together with bus bars. So now we have to remove all the screws because these batteries come assembled with screws from the factory. So Allen wrench, I think this is a 5/32 Allen wrench. So even though they're made in China, they're not metric. We just remove these, and we're just going to put them off to the side just like so. And we've got 40 of these to do. About now is where I'm going to speed up the video. These screws comes with a lock washer and a flat washer. So anyways, man, we moved across the country, 3,000 miles, 3 families. It was a little longer than we thought. And a couple of semi-loads. We're now in the state of Idaho. And I am now back in my garage because we are waiting for our building to be finished so we can get in there. And I just wanted to shoot a video really quickly for you guys, show you how to make a battery pack real quick and simple. And that's pretty much about it. Alright, so now that's the battery pack without any screws in it. This is what it looks like all the way around. If you look closely, both sides have a positive and a negative and a positive and a negative side. If you flip it over, you got the same thing. However, when we wire them up or strap them together, it'll look a little different on each side. So that's really important to understand and to make sure that you don't mess up at all, or you're going to short out the battery pack, or you're going to have some voltage issues or damage your battery cells. Now that we've done this, we're going to tap these all back into place again, and we'll do this a couple times. Alright, so now that we've done that, now we are going to parallel these, and then we are going to series these. So the first thing we're going to do, grab a 2-hole battery strap. We're going to be placing them along the battery. So that would be simply how we would do that. We would just run 1 row to the positives and then run our screws back through them. So there you go. That's what it looks like on the positive side. And on every side here, it's going to look like that. Well, kind of. It's going to change here in just a quick minute. So we're going to do this one like that because this is our positive. And I know this is my positive. And then I'm going to do only the negative like that over here because I know this is my negative. And there's our positive and our negative. Positive, negative. We're going to have a positive lead here and a negative lead here. And we haven't done, of course, anything on the bottom of the battery yet. So right now, is what we're going to do is we're going to be doubling up the center 2 rows to put them into series, and then also we will be doubling up the bottom 2 rows. Now you got to remember, this is your negative side now over here, and your positive side is now over here because you've rotated the battery. That's really important to know. This is a simple build on a 12-volt system, but if we are doing 24-volt, 48-volt, 60-volt, and on and above, you know, it changes the factor significantly in what you're doing. But in this case, both rows will be linked together here, and then these 2 rows will be linked together here. They will not connect to each other. They will not touch in any way, shape, or form. They will just be linked together. Now, we have a couple of different kinds of straps that we sell over at SolarGenny.com. We have a 2-hole strap. We have a 4-hole strap. These are our thinner 1mm and 0.5 mm straps for a small continuous discharge application. We also have the 4-hole with the 5-hole, which is a center hole, so we can go over 2 batteries, or we can go over the little nipples here on the battery holder. So we make these ourselves. We also have these in a thicker all copper. So that being said, we'll have those available for you here in the next day or 2 on the website. We do have them. They are in stock. We just have not unboxed them and unloaded them because we just got moved. So anyways, you're just not going to find these on the market. You know, you have to make these. Anyways, I just thought I'd show that to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a straight 4 coming from my positive from my positive down here through my battery to my negative, from my negative over to my other positive. And that is going to complete my first series from my 3.7 volts up to 7.4 volts. So anyways, we're going to just simply drop it on there and we're good to go. And we're going to drop one here and we're good to go. And then we're going to drop one here and we're good to go. And we're going to drop one here and we're good to go. And we have now completed our first series of positive to negative. I'll put the screws in really quick. We are going to be selling these in DIY kits also over on the website. So you guys can go buy your own cells, your own plates, your own BMS, and your own charger. You can do that right now on the website. You can do it a la carte. But we'll have some simple ones put together for you. So all you got to do is just go over, pick one out, you know, whatever size battery you want, whatever size charger you want. And the BMS will all be in a kit. We'll have the, you know, 20 amp hour, 30, 40, 50, up to 100 or more, or whatever you need. Anyway, so now I've got that all complete. And I'm going to do this other side really quick. Now, when you buy batteries never come with enough straps to do a build like this. When you buy 8 batteries, that's considered you're going to make a 24 volt battery, and it comes with 8 holders and 8 straps, so you can run 8 batteries in series to 24 volts. So always remember that when you're buying the straps. That's just the way that we purchase them from China, and Headway, and that's the way we sell them. So if you're going to build a battery like this, you do need to order extra straps. Put some more screws in here. Alright, so now that we've got all the screws in place on this set of series, we're just going to screw them down. And that completes the bottom of the battery for a 12 volt, 50 amp hour LifePo4 cell. We're back to the top of the battery, the back of the battery, the bottom of the battery. Alright, so we're going to come back, we're going to spin it. I'm coming back to my positive, and it really doesn't matter because there's only 2 connections now left to be made, and that's to put the rest of the thing into series. And so now we're going to use this plate, the 5-hole plate, and we're going to go right over the next ones. So with this hole, I'm able to go right over these little nipples right here. And that's huge because I don't have to run individual straps and then keep strapping across and using 4 straps to complete this connection. And that's what it looks like when it's complete. So I'll throw the screws in here. All right, and there's the top of the battery. So one single line here, doubled there, a single line there, bottom of the battery, 2 double lines. Now we can do a quick check on this, see where we're at with voltage. Hopefully the camera's picking that up. I don't have my probes, I have my clips. We're going to spin the battery around again. Positive to negative. We should be in the 13-12 range. There we go, 1322. Hopefully the camera's picking that up. I think it is. Yeah, I think so. I'll move it a little closer just in case. There we go, I know I can see it now. And so we are on flat batteries, we're not fully charged, so we're at 13.22 volts, so we know that we made all of our connections right, and we know that our batteries are good. So we can go through and individually check each battery, which we've done previously, so we don't have to worry about that. But that is a very simple 12 volt, 50 amp hour Headway 38120 cell battery pack. So that's it put together. Now we've got to add some positive negative cables, as well as a BMS, which is the cabling there, and the BMS is right here. So for this battery build and what it's being used for, we can use a small balanced BMS like this because the use of this battery is not high drain. It's actually very low, slow drain. So we'll be using a very small BMS. Some of our BMSs are monsters, man. I mean, they're just huge. And you guys watch a lot of videos out there on YouTube, and people show you like BMSs like this to run on your house and for solar power and portable power, but this is not it, okay? So let me just kind of give you a quick idea of what kind of a BMS you should be using for that purpose. Now, this is not for this battery. If you were going to use this battery in a high drain situation, you in fact could use this BMS, but you wouldn't want to if you don't need it because it's not cheap by any means. Here's a BMS. And here is a BMS. So, to give you an idea of the size comparison, that is it. There is no comparison. This is a real BMS. This is for a real build. This is for, you know, electric bikes and small capacities. This is a 100 amp BMS, but it's not a 100 amp continuous discharge. And so, conversation for another day, guys. But this is a true 150 amp hour BMS, continuous discharge. And it is a beast. Actually, it's not even open, so I'm not going to open it right now, but you get an idea of the size of this thing. Compared to an iPhone and another iPhone, and they're still not here. So we're going to be doing some videos on this in the future, guys, so you'll get these. But anyways, that's a real BMS. And those are the kind of BMSs that we use in our portable solar generators and in all of our bigger builds that have a continuous high amperage output that we've got to have those for, and both for charging as well. So some of our things, you know, we're throwing a lot of amperage at it while we're charging it. So it's really important that we protect the battery pack very well with the BMS. Once again, like I said, this BMS is very simple. All right, so anyways, man, I'm going to show you guys how to wire up the BMS on this using the balance lead, the BMS. First rule to remember is, like I said, you got a negative and you got a positive, and then the other three leads are all positive leads. So you're just going to run those to each positive of the series. I could get confused on these myself every now and again, so if you just remember that, you're good. And just remember that from the negative, it starts number 1, 2, 3. First positive lead from the negative, second positive lead from the negative, third positive lead from the negative. And that's the positive lead of each series of batteries. If you remember that, you won't have any problems. So anyways, what we'll do is we'll loosen up the negatives here. And the positive, I'm sorry. And then the negative here. So those will be ready to go. Take the first red wire, which is our positive. We'll wrap it around it. Screw it down. Remember, this is for demonstration purposes, nothing more. When we do our BMSs, we don't do them this way. I just want you to remember that. And I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes to show you guys quickly how to do a BMS, a balanced BMS. And this is both for power out and charge in, or power in, however you want to call it. So there, I've connected the positive and the negative of the battery. So we're good. Now what we got to do is go from our leads from the negative to the first red wire from the negative, which goes to our first series, which will be on the other side of the battery. So we're going to spin it around, flip it over. Now it's backwards, so don't forget that it's backwards. Come over, grab that first lead, and that is going to go to your first positive. Yes, you've got a positive and negative connected, but it doesn't matter. That's just how it goes. That's the first one. like so. And because we're over here, I'm going to do the last one, which I shouldn't jump out of sequence, but I'm going to because it's already flipped over. So then I would go all the way over to the positive, the one right next to the positive, which is the last one in the series. Back over to the front or the top of the battery. And hit the second or the middle wire to the next positive, which is here. And all 5 are connected. If we did it right, we should be able to test our voltage. From the positive to the negative, and it should read the same as the battery. Our battery is reading 1323. Hopefully you can get that in the camera. I think you can. Come down here. We hit the ends of the BMS and see if we did it right. And we did not do it right. Lovely. Yes, we did. 1323. So we know that we did that correct. Slide the plug in. Now on the BMS itself, you got 3 ports on this one. One goes to the battery negative that we'll solder on. The other one goes to the power out negative, and one goes to the charger negative. So when you're running this BMS, it's all negative. So battery negative, power out negative, and charger negative. Everything else on the positive side, both the charger and the power out, are going to share the same negative lead. Or I'm sorry, the same positive lead. And then everything else is going to have an independent negative lead. The BMS is going to be grounded to the battery itself, and then the power out is going to have its own ground here, and then the charge in is going to have its own ground. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow you to control both the charge coming in and the power going out. And that way, if there's a problem with the charge coming in, the BMS will detect it, it'll shut it off, the battery won't work. If you're running power out and there's something going on with the battery or something on your power end or your load, the BMS will detect that and it will also shut down. Anyways, if you've got your BMS hooked up and everything is seems to be fine, but your battery's not charging or your battery's not outputting any power, you can just disconnect the BMS, go straight to your positive and your negative, measure your voltage. And if you know you don't have any bad cells or anything and you've checked them all, you could just bypass the BMS if you needed to. BMS is a safety feature to protect you, your equipment, your property, whatever you want to call it. So we always use the BMS just for that case. So in a DIY situation, that's what you would do. If you buy one of our batteries and you have a problem with it, don't disconnect the BMS. Just send it back to us. We'll take care of it. And if you're good at doing it, then we'll send you a BMS. But either way, this is how you make a 12 volt 50 amp hour battery with a BMS. You can hot glue the BMS to the front, and then you would solder it up, like I said. One wire from the negative side of here for the battery, right to the battery, and then out to your charger and your power out. You'd have 3 negative leads in a sense. One going to the battery, one going to your load, one going to your charger. The charger and the load will both share the same positive. So that's it in a nutshell. I'm not going to wrap this battery, and I'm not going to, you know, shrink wrap it or anything like that. You know, it just, the video gets way too long. That's the battery with the BMS. And if we check our voltages here again, while we have the BMS sitting here, you'll see that we still have the 1324 on the meter. And so on and so forth as we go to our power out and our charge. So all one and the same. Anyways, guys, once again, that's our Headway 38120s 12 volt 50 amp hour battery. That's how you build it. That's how you put it together. You can put styrofoam on it. You can put polyethylene, PVC, whatever you want on the sides, the tops, the bottoms. You can use Captain Tape to tape the tops. I've got Captain Tape laying here. Sorry I'm a little disorganized because we just moved, like I said, but you could run some Captain Tape across there to protect it, and that's what we do. You could run some smaller Captain Tape, and that will keep it from shorting out or you know, touching any metal or anything like that. You don't have to worry about it once you tape it up. Wrap the top here with the Captain Tape, protect your circuits, flip it over, you'd wrap it again with the Captain's Tape, and you'd be good to go. So where do you get the BMS? Well, you can get these BMSs from us, or you can get them on Amazon, you can get them on eBay. These are pretty simple, cheap little BMSs. They're under 20 bucks. Sometimes they're like 25 bucks. Captain Tape, you can get them over on our website, through our Amazon store over there, or you can go buy it on Amazon. If you get it through us through the website, we get a few pennies when you purchase it. That's 2 inch, 6 inch. 6 inch is about 30 bucks a roll. 2 inch I believe is about 20 bucks a roll. We buy it in bulk, so we get a little bit better deal on it, but that's just kind of it for you guys there. The 2-hole battery connectors, the orange part you see here, you can buy over at our website over at solarjenny.com, as well as all of the 38120S cells, the 38120S cells, the 38120 HP cells. Remember, these are 10. The blue ones are the S cells. They have 10 amp hours and a continuous discharge rate now of 30 amps continuous and a peak of 100. Headway changed the stats on these about 6 months ago. And the red HP battery is a true 100 continuous with a 200 peak. All of our batteries are brand new that we sell. Also, we have Samsung 25R 18650 batteries. We have loads of batteries, guys. We have thousands and thousands of batteries, so if you need any, come on over and get them. We've got them on sale right now. Check it out. If you want any portable solar generators, be sure to check us out for those. We've got those in all sorts of ranges. Also, this week, we should be finally getting our personalized OEM Solar Jenny Tesla inverters. They are the 6,000 watt 24 volt inverters, and then in about another month or two we'll have the 12,000 watt 12 volt or the 12,000 watt 24 volt 48 volt version of the Tesla inverter, as well as the 6,000 48 volt inverter coming in. So anyways, also remember battery chargers. We've got them over at solarjenny.com as well. Enjoy the battery. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys on the next one.